Long ago, there was a king named Aurelio in the early years. He was loved by everyone. His empire was wide and strong. People traveled from faraway lands just to see his golden city. Children sang songs about his kindness. Old men told stories of his wisdom. He built schools where even poor children could learn. He built hospitals where everyone could get treatment. He allowed all faiths to worship freely. Merchants brought treasures to his city. Poets wrote songs of his goodness. Travelers spoke of his justice. The people called him Aurelio the Just. But inside his heart, Aurelio was restless. He wanted something more. He wanted to see the future so that no one could ever defeat his kingdom. Against the warning of his queen, Selene, he went to a forbidden temple in the mountains. There he prayed to the gods. Show me what is to come. Give me power to protect my empire forever. The gods answered his prayer, but their gift was a curse. They gave him vision of the future. He saw plagues spreading across the lands. He saw leaders who lied and ruled with fear. He saw machines that watched people in every home. He saw wars that destroys nations. The vision were true, but they came too heavy for his mind. Day and night, his eyes burned with images of things his people could not understand. At first, he tried to warn his people, but when no one believed him, anger and fear took over. His laughter changed. It was no longer warm. It sounded sharp like a broken glass. His eyes that was once full of light grew dark and suspicious. He began to accuse his closest friends of betrayal. He killed his most loyal generals. Soldiers who had fought beside him for years were cut down. Ministers who had served him faithfully disappeared overnight. The worst of all was when he banished his beloved queen, Queen Selene, to a faraway island. He ignored the cry of his only daughter, Lyra. Princess Lyra watched with fears in his eyes. She could not understand how the father who once carried her on his arm was turning into a cruel stranger. The empire soon became a place of fear. The schools turned into a place to make weapons. The temple became prison. The beautiful gardens were filled with graves. At night, the people whispered, "Our king has gone mad." But Aurelio wrote everything he saw in his journal. All the vision he saw were written down. His hands were rough, his words wide, but inside them were warnings. He wrote about sickness that would spread across the world. He wrote about leaders who would lie and silence the truth. He wrote about machines that would one day watch people everywhere. At that time, no one believed him. They thought he was only raving like a madman. When he died, his empire collapsed, but the curse lived on. The gods has declared, until one chooses love above the crown, the bloodline shall suffer, the madness shall rule. His name became a curse. People said, do not be like the mad king. Centuries later, in the modern world, a young student named Amir was working on an archaeology site. He was digging through the ruins of an old temple when his hand touched something hard. Brushing away the dust, he pulled out a leather-bound journal. The pages were old and fragile, but the words were still clear. Amir's eyes grew wide as he read. These are not just the thoughts of a madman, he whispered. These are visions. The more he read, the more shocked he became. The plague, the corruption, the machines, they were all happening in his own time. The journal was like a mirror of the present. One name appeared again and again inside the pages. The name is Lyra. Amir searched and discovered something incredible. Princess Lyra's bloodline had survived in secret. Her family had hidden themselves, passing down the truth from one generation to the next. Her name is Lena. She was brave, young woman leading protests in the city against a cruel modern dictator. When Amir showed her the journal, she froze. My grandmother told me the story, Lena whispered. She said our family is connected to a curse. She said one day the world will see us again. Together, Amir and Lena read the prophecy hidden in the journal. The curse shall break when love is chosen above the crown. But time was short. The world was ruled by a man who called himself the new king. He has found Aurelius' ancient crown and wore it proudly. He believed it gave him power, but in truth, it fed the curse. Just like Aurelio, he was paranoid, ruthless, and merciless. The moment he crowned himself as the king, he had inherited the curse of Aurelio. He was a dictator who had taken control of nations. He wore golden robes and declared himself the heir of the Mad King. He silenced journalists, arrested protesters, and built prison for anyone who dared speak against him. When he learned about Lena, the true heir of Lyra's bloodline, he ordered her capture. The world watched in shock as Lena was chained and displayed on live television. The king laughed into the camera. This girl carried the cursed blood of the Mad King's family. Tonight, her life will end, and my reign will never end. Amir's heart burned. He knew this was the moment of the prophecy. He could stay silent and save himself, or he could act and risk everything. He remembered the last word Aurelio has written before his death: "Love above the crown, the curse shall end." So Amir made his choice. On the night of Lena's execution, the world was watching. Drones over above the city. Camera flashed. People in every country tuned in. Lena stood under the spotlight, her chains heavy. Her eyes was burning with quiet strength. The new king lifted his blade, ready to strike her down. But before he could, Amir burst into the hall. His clothes were torn, his face pale, but his voice was strong. He held up the journal. "The curse is not power," he shouted. Aurelio lost himself because he chose power over love. But tonight, we choose differently. Lena stepped forward. Her voice was trembling but firm. "If my bloodline is cursed, then let it end with me." But Amir shook his head. He placed himself in front of her and cried, "No, it ends with me. I choose love, not the crown." That was the sacrifice the gods had demanded for centuries. The air grew still. The camera caught everything, every breath. The crown on the new king's head began to glow red. Then it cracked. Then it melted, dripping into the floor like fire. The new king screamed as his throne shattered beneath him. His guards dropped their weapons. The hall was filled with blinding light, then silence. The curse was broken. Amir fell to the ground, weak but alive. Lena rushed to him, holding his arm as tears ran down her face. Across the world, millions of people saw what had happened. They saw the curse of the Mad King was finally broken, not by war, not by violence, but by love and sacrifice. In the days that followed, everything changed. The new king's rule collapsed. Nations that had been divided began to reunite. Amir became a symbol of peace. Lena became a leader, but she refused to wear a crown. She told the world, "Power belongs to the people, to the heart, to love." And so, after centuries of fear and darkness, the story of the Mad King finally ended. It ended not with madness, not with fear, but with love, and the world was free at last. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more powerful tales from around the world.